And I started, I went to Burning Man, years ago. It's been like 8 years. And I kind of like, I was living a great life before that, but that Burning Man kind of just woke me up in a lot of ways. And it gave me like, a way to, a portal for my creativity. It inspired me there was a booth out there that I ran, ended up sitting behind and running, and it really changed my life. And I came back and I had my buddy build me an advice booth, and I've been setting that up ever since, and really having a blast engaging with people. And I don't know, what else do you want to know? That was a lot. That was all over the place.
Who got you out there? Who'd you camp with?
My friend Yona, she actually brought me to Transformus first. So that's like the regional burn in North Carolina. And my friend Yona. And then that was just like, what? Like, it's like, how has this been going on for years? And I just now am like learning about this situation. That kind of just was like a big shocker and woke me up. And then the next year I was like, I got to go to the big one. And that's, and then I went out there, and it's just been freaking ridiculous ever since, in the best way possible.
Cool. So what year was it that you went to Transformers? What was your very first burn?
Oh gosh, Holly, I have no idea about any year about anything except maybe like when I graduated high school, because I just don't work that way. Like, honestly, I was married. I don't even know the year I got married, I don't think. So we'll just skip that.
I was just curious. I met you at Transformers for the first time, and you had that kind of gecko puppet thing. It was like you had like a little hand puppet that had like it was like the lizard thing with the crazy eyeballs.
Oh my gosh, my guy. Yeah, he's gone now, but
yeah, I was wondering if that might have been your first burn, because we met at Transformers and you were across the way from You Are Beautiful, where all the bubbles were and stuff, because that's right. Mm-hmm. And you were just across the way, like playing with this, like doing this little puppet. Like, people were going by. Yeah. It was adorable.
I think I have a thing for puppets. But yeah, so I'm not sure if I don't think that was my first, because that was Trash Lizard. That was his name.
Yep.
He had like his own Facebook page and everything. And I would use him to go pick up Moop. And I thought that was pretty cool. So so I wouldn't have to get my hand dirty. And he didn't mind at all, because he loved to eat trash. So that was the Trash Lizard.
Indeed. And he's Oscar the Grouch's cousin. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
So, but he moved on to bigger and better things. Yeah. So thank you for reminding me about Trash Lizard, though. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that's how I first met you. You were dressed adorably, standing across from the bubbles, and you had this little character with you, and you were just kind of dancing like on your own with you and Trash Lizard, and you were just having a great time. And I think me and my friend Christina Romeo came up to you. Yeah, and you were like, "Who are you? You are exquisite." And yeah, and that's how I first met you. That's how you first came.
Nice. Yeah, I like to dance.
You were.
I'm addicted to dancing. That's for sure.
Love it. Same. So, so tell us like what the evolution of you getting involved in doing the free advice booth fairy, and what, like, how that has fit into your life and your career, and like what has been the progression from there.
So there was, like I said, I got inspired through like Transformus. There was a camp that had the psychiatric help booth, and then Burning Man also had like an art installation, a booth that anybody could come up and run. So luckily I was given those opportunities. And then when I stepped behind the booth, it's like just something just like clicked in me. And it was just like I had all this, it was like this way, I finally had this like way to just share from my heart what I wanted to share with people. And and they would be coming to me, which is great, because they, then they're in charge, they can come up and I'm not running around going, maybe you should try this, or, and I don't really want to tell anybody what to do. I just want to share like my passions and like share what has worked for me. Cause I know a lot of people struggle with the same things, like cigarettes. Like I was able to quit the cigarettes, and I really like sharing like how I did that and helping people do the same thing. And I've been able to do that through the booth. It's given me like this platform for like just a way to express my creativity that was all inside me before, but I just didn't have a way like I did with the booth. So by working those couple, of burns behind other people's booths, I just got inspired. And I had a buddy here in Asheville who's a carpenter, really great guy, and he was willing to sit down and create one for me and build me one. And he made it really cool. He designed it so it would just break down into pieces and fit like into my little Toyota Matrix. So, which is really great. But when you put it together, it's like this grandiose, like real deal wooden, like, like lemonade stand on steroids or something, like really cool. And substantial, like booth. And I was able to just throw that in my car and then just get out in the world and set this up and engage with people. And a lot of places were just really open to me doing that. So I started doing that at like bars here in Asheville, city streets, sidewalks. I started like setting up at Leaf Festival, it's one of my favorite places on the planet, Lake Eden Art Festival. And I started doing that regularly. So people just like really went bonkers for it. They loved it. They're like, so for a lot of reasons, like I think when I get behind the booth, I'm totally my like fully expressed, uninhibited self. And whether, not trying to be perfect, just being me 100%. And like people really love seeing that. Like even like little kids, like I was telling someone the other day, it's really neat to do that booth and have these kids come up to me and they just see this adult like being silly and being, being out there and just being wild, but yet being kind of like a professional all at the same time. And it's like this wave of relief comes over their face of just like, I can grow up and be silly still, and I love being that example for people. But at the same time, like it's completely serious. Like I'll have somebody come up and I'm up there and I'm ready to listen to them and hold space for them. And I've had people just like completely just unload like their entire life, like like I've been cheating on my wife or whatever's going on, or leading this double life, and like crying in my arms about it, and then being able to walk away and just having released this to somebody who's not going to have an opinion about it or judge them. And I like to send people away with like a list of little resources. So I put together like a list of books that have helped me, documentaries and different things that they can maybe, look into or something if they're inspired. But
absolutely.
Did I answer your, I don't know if I answered your question, but.
This is wonderful.
Okay.
So what does it look like if a person sees your booth and they're curious and they come and they sit down? What is the opening experience? How do you get warmed up with people?
Okay. Yeah. So what it is that I've kind of decorated the booth and the signs that I'm putting on, around there, and it's already kind of like letting them know that this can be very silly. And this is, I use humor to kind of like break down let their guard down and not have them be so nervous. And they're coming up and they're right away like, and, especially when I do an event, I set this scene where it's like, people just, it's like a little taste of Burning Man, it's like, it just allows them to be like I'm being like fully expressed and let their guard down. And they're just like, what is going on? Like, why do I feel so good in here? And it's just like, it's really cool. But like I have a full menu, right? So they can come up and I let them look at the menu, and it's just complete improv. Like we don't know what's going to happen. We can have a thumb war. We can do a staring contest. We can, all of a sudden I have like a slow clap. They can get a standing ovation. So I just kind of let them, like settle in, and I they have a big smile on their face usually, and then they're kind of looking at the menu. And even if they start with some kind of like something on the lighter side, maybe they want a sticker or something, I try to encourage them to like go a little deeper and maybe choose a couple of items, and by the time they leave, we've somehow gotten into like writing out some goals or talking about some like deep passion they have and brainstorming on ways to bring that into fruition, and things like that. So, and even if it is just a staring contest or a thumb war, like everything I have on the menu is there to create like connection, whether they know it or not. So like if I'm doing the thumb war, we're holding hands and we're connecting, or the staring contest is like, I'm giving you this download, you know, we're people aren't looking at each other in the eyes anymore as often. And that's just so important. So to practice that is really cool, you know? So, but yeah, it allows people to step out of the norm and like be a little bit, gives them permission to kind of be whimsical. Like I can grant a wish. I've got a wand up there, and I teach them how to like visualize, and that's how we manifest things in our lives, you know? So it's really a gift to a lot of people that are not, I forget because I spend a lot of time in that world, but like you know, some people that maybe haven't been to Burning Man, or like aren't used to going to festivals, or, you know, using their imagination as much as they're an adult, it gives them a chance to just, you know, have some fun. That's the most important thing in the world, if you ask me. But
I love it. I love it. So are you still doing your trunk sales? Will you tell us a little bit about your fashion?
Yeah. So my for-profit is, I have a traveling trunk show. And I've been doing this, and it's been about 11 years, which is awesome because I freaking love doing it. And I feel so lucky to have a job that I absolutely love. I'm one of those people that really, I don't feel like I work because I truly enjoy doing this. But yeah, basically, I go out, I have this, like, one of my superpowers is to find really great, like, vintage clothes or recycled clothing. And I go and collect the clothes. And you know, I also have been getting donations, which is great because people love what I'm doing. So I've got these clothes that I get, and then I collect them. And then once a month, I go to a city and I just pop up shop for a few days, and I take over a space like a studio or like a photography studio or, you know, a warehouse or something. And I set up my booth. So that's like, you know, I've got my booth there. And then we've got racks and racks of clothes. And, you know, I create this really fun, comfortable atmosphere. Basically, like, it's like a traveling thrift store, right? But I bring in like local artists from those cities to collaborate with, to try to, you know, get them like exposed to people and get them comfortable with selling their art. So there might be like a live painter, there might be a jewelry, you know, someone that made jewelry, tarot reading, and then I turn the music up and we just have fun. Like, I give discounts if you're dancing. Like, there's lots of ways to get free clothes. Like, if you there's like on the little price tags. I'm excited about this because I've been doing this more and more. But, you know, if you look, and everything's really reasonable. So I'm trying to, like, $5 to $20, you know, and I'm trying to get people, and it's working, but like to realize how much fun that can be to shop this way and like get away from some of these like higher priced like chain stores that are, you know, like not great for the environment. And so shopping sustainably has been like, you know, one of my passions. And so, yeah, so like you can get a couple dollars off the shirt if you beat me at thumb wrestling, or if you come up and sing a song in front of everybody, you get like a free pair of pants or whatever. So it's just so much fun. And yeah, so I have like a route, and I'm looking for new cities too. If anyone out there want me to come to your city.
So tell us a little bit about Bliss Moms. What are those?
Well, so through working my booth for years, and so like I said, like I started doing this maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I would set up my booth. And one thing that I think it's interesting, because now I'm on Patreon and I'm doing this nonprofit and I'm trying to, you know, get funded. I actually started thinking of these other ways to create opportunities for connection. And that's kind of how my whole nonprofit side of it started, which I call the Booth Fairy Project, because I'm the Booth Fairy, like, because I have an advice booth, right? So it all makes sense. But yeah, so I started doing these, I call them Bliss Mobs. And it was kind of like a flash mob. I would say, okay, everybody, I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Trade and Try On, which is like right downtown Center City, where all the hustle and bustle is, like at lunchtime. And it's like, meet me at this street corner. And for 90 minutes, we're just going to bliss out all the city workers, the construction workers, like everybody that comes into contact with us. And which means basically, like, I show up and I've got, you know, a dozen signs, and the signs, again, I'm using humor here. So, because, you know, it helps break break down people's insecurities and apprehensions. But like the signs are like gluten-free hugs, high fives, free compliments, all that kind of thing. I've got hug options on one. So there's like bear hug, side hug, awkward. So it's like, it's funny. And so I've got the signs, I've got my megaphone, I've got bubble machine and music. So I've got like a whole playlist, and I just set up a little area and people show up to, work with me. And we just, it can be really kind of vulnerable at first, but once we get going, it's like our nerves relax and go away, and then it's just complete and utter like bliss, and we just like, we'll just offer the hugs, the high fives, the smiles. We can do standing ovations, and so we make people happy, free stickers. People walk by and sometimes they don't engage with us, they'll deny us or whatever, or pretend we're not there, or look away, and that's okay, because I feel like it's just really important. The feedback that I've mainly gotten from those is just outstanding. Like people double park their car and like run out and just like, they're like, I gotta get a hug, or this is so amazing, and like, thank you so much for doing this. Like this, construction worker at one recently, he had been watching us on his lunch break from a booth, or a little bench. And he came up to us after 20 or 30 minutes of observing. And he was just like, almost in tears. And he was like, this is what we need right now. Like, this is so important. Please don't stop doing this. And it was really cool and motivating to hear. And people are like, this is helping me restore my faith in humanity. Like, people need to see like, random acts of kindness. And it just happens to be like, I love doing it. It's super fun. It's free. It's easy. So, my goal right now is to be getting those going in major cities, and having other people that are like big love junkie, extroverted, people like me that are going to lead them. So that's been starting. But I'm also doing those. I'm going to nursing homes and kind of providing a similar form of, joy and bliss and connection. And those are just my favorite things to do on the planet. And so those are like nursing home bliss mobs, I've been calling those. And basically can I just keep rolling? I don't know. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Go ahead.
I'm excited. I told you I was going to get excited about this.
This is really great, wholesome content. So you just keep on going.
Okay. Because I'm super passionate about this, and it's like starting to take off, and it's really exciting to me. I've been doing nursing home volunteer work for years and years and years, probably like, 15 years. But I'm just now doing it and then inviting other people to come with me. So it's taking it to this whole new level. And like I said, my goal is to get this happening. I want to get like a squad of love ambassadors, right? In like all the major cities. So this stuff can be, make sure that these places, these people are getting hugged. And like, I want it, like the booth, for instance, I want there to be like an advice booth, whether it's the shitty advice or whether it's the booth fairy, probably the booth fairy, but like, that'd be better. But like, have that, built in to somewhere, like whether it's a college campus or a brewery or wherever the space, allows, but to have one. So there can be like some people there, some love ambassadors in that city that'll come and run the booth. But anyway, yes, the nursing home bliss mob is basically, it's just, again, like putting it out there saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like, who wants to come? Who wants this opportunity to connect? Because I want people to like try it out. Like, so many people haven't tried, so they don't know how really yummy and awesome and rewarding this feels. So it's like, and there's so many people, like, especially at the nursing home, that just are so deficient of like connection and love, and just, they need visitors, they need eye contact, they need so much. And it feels so good to do it. So it's like, here are these people that are just, they're so in need of that. And then I know so many people who are in need of more purpose in their life. So it's like, I'm just trying to bridge these gaps, and get as people as like, I'm addicted. Like I'm straight up addicted to like, I guess love or like dopamine or whatever it is, but it's great. And I don't want to stop. But like, so the nursing home thing is, yeah, same thing. It's like, hey, I'm going to be at this nursing home at this time, show up, and then I'll be like this ringleader person, and you just can follow my lead. And we're going to go. And what we've been doing is going door to door and just saying, hey, you need a visitor today. And I've got like, you know, and I can't help but make it a little bit silly. Like I've got my accordion and I bring bubbles in there, and we just, I just get so silly with them and they just love it. I'll bring in like dolls to give them, or teddy bears, or like put crowns, or, you know, like little cat ears. And recently I've gotten, I'm bringing in my like big Bose speaker, and I've been, you know, saying, hey, what do you want to hear today? Or some of them are like, they want to hear these specific artists from their past that meant so much to them. And I'll just, or, you know, and I'll turn it up, and probably too loud. I don't know if the staff hasn't said anything to me yet, but like, just, you know, turn it up, push the limit, and like, and they just come alive. And it's so freaking beautiful to watch. Like, they'll sing to it, and then I'll just be dancing. Like, yeah, what was it like last month? I turned up Michael Jackson and played Stevie Wonder, and I just walked up and down the halls, and I was boogieing, and I got them to boogie. A couple people like had their walker, and I was kind of like, oh, they're like getting up out of their walker and just like dancing. And man, it was like, it's like top-notch fun for me. Like I dig that so much. So the really cool thing about this is, and this is why I'm putting it out on my social media and stuff, is like I've been getting people recently more and more, just today even, getting people that are reaching out to me, email, whatever it is, and saying, hey, just want you to know that I just started doing volunteer work at nursing homes, and I've been watching what you're doing, and I took, you know, some flowers and some costume jewelry into mine last week with my kid, and it was great. And so just the fact that I know people are watching and then starting to do this is like so cool. Like I love it so much. So
I love everything about this.
it's
So
so good.
about your ambassadors, do you have like a program or like a template or some way that you are kind of cloning, you know, this idea yourself, you know, trying to kind of like stamp this in different cities? Do you have some type of like structure or like a program that people can sign up for, or what's the avenue?
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of working on all of that right now. Like I'm kind of like tweaking that, like getting some video, like tutorial videos made, and like lists of like, you know, because I want it to be like, I want the people that are going to lead the Bliss mobs, if it's through the Booth Fairy Project, just pro love. Like it's just, there's no agenda. It's not anti anything. I want to make sure that we all kind of have the same, you know, the same kind of like 15 different signs or whatever they are. Like I don't want any kind of like crazy politic stuff coming into play. So I want to make sure, yeah, I'm like getting all of that together now. And I think it's happening at the perfect rate, because it's starting to trickle in, and I'm kind of like, like I'm going to need help pretty much soon. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like my idea, like ultimately I would love to think of, there's like this really like, of course, like energy efficient and green, like manufacturing plant where there's all these like little fairies in there, like with wings, and they're building like, you know, like the little slow claps, like the, you know, the portable standing ovation stages, and they're building the booths and the advice booths, and they're building, like they're putting together the kits. Like I want there to be a kit, like when somebody from wherever, you know, Cincinnati, Ohio reaches out and they like, I'm ready to lead a Bliss mob. Well, I want to send them a kit that's like, there's a dozen signs, you know, with, you know, like really awesome durable signs, and then maybe a megaphone and some bubbles and some stickers, and then bam, there they go. They can start it. And because it's like, why wouldn't we be having these like regularly in every city, at least like once a month, like the first Friday of every month? There's, you know, there's going to be this like love, you know, these love ambassadors down at the center city or whatever, giving out the hugs and the high fives and everything. So like, I mean, I can see that happening.
I can see it too. I don't think there's any reason not to do that. I think that, you know, clearly this is a calling for you. Like I can tell,
Yeah.
I know just being around you, knowing you in person, that that this is just so authentic, and that this is just coming from such a pure place in your heart. And I absolutely love it and support it. And I know that there are a lot of groups that you could facilitate this through. Have you heard of Burners Without Borders?
I have, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm involved in that, so I can connect
Okay.
you with some of those groups too. This would be like right up their alley too, to partner
Hmm.
to do something like this. Maker spaces where they could be, if you have like a blueprint for, the booth or something, and it could
Hmm.
like buy
I
a
do,
yeah,
yeah.
or something like where you could just, get people involved. Like maybe somebody is introverted and they don't know if they want to be out on the streets hugging people, but they're really great, creating, wood carpentry, woodwork type of stuff, and they could plug in that way. It's just really,
Right.
it's just got my heart and my mind going in all fun
Yeah.
directions. But yeah, I would love to help you
Thank
facilitate.
you.
Absolutely.
I'm looking right now to start one, like have a booth in Asheville, like permanent somewhere. So I can kind of, start here and then have like a residency there, and then kind of start kind of having people come and work it with me, and then just kind of let it go wild and see what happens. But like if I'm at a festival and I have like a little sign, like, hey, I'm like, if I take a break or if I had to go eat, um, hey, I stepped away, please step up behind this and run this, this is a community booth. And I'll come back and it's like, there are people, going nuts, and they're just having a ball, and they're kind of not even happy that I'm back. It's like, oh gosh, I want to stay here doing this. She's back. And I'm like, no, let's just do this. So it's like, definitely not just me. Like there's so many people out there that are, and it's not for everybody, but there's definitely enough people out there in the world that would have a blast doing this. That and the Bliss mobs out in the city, and sometimes we take it and move, and it's like it turns into like this hug parade, and we're going down the sidewalk, and people just go nuts. They're running out of like a restaurant, they see us through the window, they're just like, what's going on, this is great, this is making me happy. People just need to see more good happy things going on, turn their televisions off, and like, I don't know. I know for me that since I've kind of unplugged more into the mainstream media, I've plugged way more into like my community and helping the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's what's working for me. And I think we could all do that at a higher level. You know what I mean?
I love that. So what were you like as a child? You have such a youthful, playful spirit. I'm curious what you were like as a child, and how we may have gotten glimpses of this, of
Yeah.
how you would be as an adult. Like, what did you want to be
So,
when you grew up
okay.
as
Yeah.
a child?
Well, I had a really great childhood. Like my dad was a elementary school teacher and very creative. And my mom, stay-at-home mom, and she did some work with clowning. So she would come to our schools and be like a clown, and participate in that, and that was great. And so we had, kind of that kind of vibe at home. Like the whole first floor of our house was just like easels and like art, and it wasn't, she didn't care about like the furniture and all that stuff. It was more about just like being creatively expressed, giving us that outlet. We had a big trunk in the living room, and I would open it, and there's like tutus and we all the stuff we'd find at yard sales. And so I did a lot of dress up, just a lot of using my imagination. And I like school, I wasn't the best student. I should have probably been in some like circus school or something, like I was just kind of like, what am I doing? I like not comprehending any of this. I wasn't paying attention. I was more like, I was a little bit of a trickster, like a little bit of a jokester. I think it runs in my family. My grandpa was kind of like a little, not in a bad way, but like, like the kind of, well, I have kind of like pissed some people off, like jumping out at them behind a door, or like leaving, like right now I'm like leaving to go on this, like to work my booth for 3 days, and I packed like this like rubber snake and like a fake cockroach. Like I'm like, oh shit, like this is a good sign, I think. Like I'm, this is my work. Like I have to do this. So I've always been like really into like being silly and but passionate,
What was one of the funniest things that's happened to you during all of this this life that you've been living? Or is something funny that happened with your projects, or your you putting yourself out there like this?
Oh my God, funny that's happened to me.
or it could just be
Mm.
a memorable or interesting moment that just something that surprised you, something about this work that that would go in
I
your
just,
highlight reel.
I mean, like, there's so many things, like, it's like insane. Like there's been so many magical moments, like with kids, like,
Mm.
because I don't have my own kids, and I've never really worked with kids up until I started this booth. And so, like, I'll set it up and I'll have these little kids come up, and you know, for like, they want to talk about getting bullied at school. They're like dropping in and like real deal stuff. And it's like one little boy, it was the sweetest thing, but he wanted to come up, and it was right as I was closing down the booth, and he's like, well, I just want to, can I just have a little bit of your time? He was like such a old soul. And like, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And I shut everything down, and I came around and just knelt down, and he just talked to me for like 45 minutes about just a lot of personal things, and like his sister being mean to him and everything. And then at the end, he's like, do you have a business card? He was like 7. It was like the cutest thing. And like, I actually did, like, his mom came up and we got his exchange numbers, and like, calls me, and he's just like, I have these kids in my life now, like, it's really neat. So it's just been, and so many people, like, I've just met so many freaking people, and helped, like, it's just really, it feels so good. Like I've helped so many people quit smoking, and just, there's just been so many moments. I don't know.
This is so heartwarming, and
I
I
want
love
to say some kind of weird, embarrassing thing. And I'm even like trying to be vulnerable here. And I'm just like, what is it?
Okay, well, maybe it'll come to you
Okay.
before we're done. It's okay.
Okay.
We can go into
Okay.
it.
All
So,
right.
so what in life do you feel the most grateful for right now?
I feel really grateful for just like, so I was telling my mom, like, we were talking the other day, and she said, she's very encouraging, but she's like, I hope you get, like, people are trying to get me on the Ellen show, to help, get exposure for the project and everything, which would be cool. But like, she's like, I hope you get on there, and I hope you get funded for this project, and I was genuinely like telling her, like, listen, that would be cool, but like, what's really neat is like, I don't honestly have to change anything about my life. Like, nothing has to change. Maybe it would be nice to have health insurance, but like, anyway, like, but yeah, nothing has to change. Like, I'm so freaking happy. Like, I'm so fulfilled. Like, I feel like so 100% on purpose with what I'm doing. And I just like that. I remember just years of searching for my purpose and taking workshops about it and journaling. And it's like, wow, like, I'm supposed to know this. And it's service work. Like, I encourage anybody to just do more service work and yoga. Those are the 2 things that have really propelled me into like just knowing that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm on the right path. And that is just everything to me. Like, I'm so grateful for everything. Like, all my life is just ridiculous magic.
So
It's so good.
I love it. I love it so much. So was there like kind of like an aha moment where it just kind of dawned on you that this was your path, that this was your purpose? Was there some kind of like, or did it just kind of happen slowly over time until you kind of recognized it? Or was there just like a,
Yeah.
thunderclap that, where you realized that?
Yeah. Lots of those. But like, what came into my mind when you asked me that is like, okay, I was doing this workshop in Charlotte, and this was my first festival ever. And it was, so this must have been, I don't know. Well, we won't, I don't know how long it's been, but anyway, so this woman gifted me this drum, and she gifted me a ticket to the Leaf Festival. And I went by myself. I didn't know anybody there. And then, so I'm experiencing this amazing festival. It's like a community arts festival and everything, music, all the things. And then before you know it, I had brought like this glitter with me. Right. And I end up like putting glitter on people, and it was like, I didn't even have my own booth or anything, of course, but like, what happened was a line formed, and like, I mean, it was fantastic. And this was before like, glitter went so crazy, and everybody, this was like this was before glitter was cool. Like,
yeah, before the
uncool and cool. Yeah. So like, yeah. So like, honestly, swear to God, this line formed, like, grandfathers were in it, like baby, like all these people were waiting in line, and it was part of it was just because I get like really excited and I'm an extrovert and I'm like really good at engaging with people. So I'm basically running a booth without a booth. And the line kind of went down. I ran over, I befriended this girl in her booth, and we ended up making this little cardboard sign that said free glitter. I still have it in the cupboard over there, but like ended up putting that on me. And then just, that was kind of it. Like working, I just started, engaging with people. I actually left that festival to go get more glitter. Like I'll never forget that because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, but that's what I am. I'm ridiculous. So I had to go like, yeah, get my glitter, get more glitter, come back and do it all over again. So that's kind of when I knew, I think.
That is just absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Absolutely delightful. I feel like my heart and my vibration has picked up so much and I was in a pretty good place before we started. Yeah. Just talking to you and hearing these stories, like it just feels so expansive. I can feel like my light synergizing with yours, and it just feels great. So
thank you. I can feel it too. Yeah. I feel really good. High on the love drug.
Exactly. And I love that you've replaced cigarettes with this love drug. I love that. Because
yeah.
Okay. So we were just talking about replacing smoking cigarettes with this love drug. So like instead of nicotine, we're doing oxytocin. So let's talk on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's like, so basically I've gone through some things. Like I used to drink too much, at least in my opinion, it was affecting my life in ways I didn't like it. I wasn't clear enough. I wasn't making the best decisions for me. I would eat like more junk food, smoking cigarettes, like I'm pretty extreme person. So like, I'm just kind of like very open to experience, and just happen to have a little bit of an addictive personality. So it's just, I've been like letting go of these behaviors and these patterns through, some hard work and a lot of work on myself and things. But like, for instance, the cigarettes, like I got a hold of this book called The Easy Way, which I'm trying to tell everybody about. And it's like a magical book, and how it works. Should I go into it or just, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about it for a little bit. If you,
well, just, it's really great. If you're smoking, please grab that book. It works because he tells you at the beginning that you can't quit until the very end. So you're like, oh, hell yeah. Like I can smoke, and you know what I mean? Like I really don't have to quit, but like he basically gives you your power back and like unbrainwashes you, shifts your perspective. And then by the last page, you're done. It's freaking awesome. And so I did that like 5 years ago, and I've been giving this book to everybody that I connect with through the booth, and just everyone's coming back and saying, holy shit, this works. Like, I can't believe this. So it's just it's so awesome. And I've noticed, like, I stopped the drinking, and then with the cigarettes and like some of these other things, like it's just been this process of like, once I stop one thing, it seems like another thing comes up for me to look at. But instead of like in the past, like when I learned about how good I felt, like when I gave up a lot of junk food and maybe like dairy and some other things that I was eating, I used to be a little bit more like, I'm chasing you down and like, hey, you should try this. Like, oh my gosh, like you really need to do this. And I've reached this point now where, especially with my booth, I can just kind of like, I can just be me. And like, and then like, if somebody comes up and they want to ask me about that, then I can share this information, from that space, instead of like trying to run around. And like, I've calmed down a lot in that way, like just trying to change the world, it's like, instead I'm just doing my best to change, or help, or, send love to my immediate community. And, that seems to be really working. But it's just, it's really cool to like this happened at Leaf. Like I gave the book to this couple, and then apparently and then it was a whole year went by, and I'm at Leaf again, and they're coming up to my booth, and like, I can just see them, like they're different looking. They look less like, like the hue of their skin was brighter, and they looked happier, and they're coming at me and they're like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe it. Like we started listening to that book right as soon as we got out of the parking lot last year, and then we quit, and now it's been a year. And like, it was just this glorious moment of like, just, I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just addicted to like dopamine, I guess, or like helping people, which is really that's my new addiction, that, and caffeine. I'm having trouble with that, but whatever. Nobody's perfect. Like, that's a whole nother thing too. It's like, I don't want anyone to think I'm running around being happy all the time. And I don't think that's natural. And I just don't even, like, life is a complete roller coaster. I mean, I definitely have my moments. I cry, I do all the things, but I do notice that, like, since I have a dedicated yoga practice and I have not put as much things in my body that like alcohol was causing me to be more like depressed and things. So I noticed that once I start just putting like more natural things into my body and my mind and, everything who I hang out with, I'm feeling better because of it, and it's just life. And I'm not crying as much. And I'm not like, when something sad happens, I might get sad, but I'm not carrying that sadness with me as long as I was before, or, just, yeah, I'm noticing a lot of improvements and it's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting better and better. My cat wants to like hang out. Come on, buddy.
So let's see. So how can people get more involved? You mentioned Patreon, and how can we follow you and plug in? Like, if people haven't met you or they're not sure, like where can we start to follow you and get more involved?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I'm super excited about this. I'm doing Patreon, which I'm using that for to fund my nonprofit. And there are some grants that I'm applying for, but like for now, since it's just me, I'm trying to just get funded through that. And basically it's just asking people that believe in what I'm doing to pledge, and it's a monthly subscription. So you would pledge like $1, $2, whatever you want to pledge, $100, it's fine. Let's get this thing moving. And
people have that and they want to give it. So,
or just if you want to, like, just make a donation in one big lump sum, that's great. Anything you can tax, write it off.
Right. And people want to donate $100 per month, they can do that too, right?
Whatever they want to do. And it
deserve it
out of their account at the first of the month. Yeah. And it goes into the Boothberry Project. So that's how Patreon works. It's a really cool platform to help like creators and artists and humanitarians to do this work in the world. And then that's how they're funded to do it, instead of them off at their 40-hour-a-week office job and like not able to have the time and energy to do this work. Like, I'm not getting paid to go to the nursing homes and going to do these bliss mobs and stuff. So that's how it works. Yeah. And I would love, if you want to go to my website, which is theboothberryproject.com. That's just kind of up. It's still getting edited and stuff, but it is working, and it's got all the links to like the Patreon, the Facebook, my Twitter account, my Instagram, and all that stuff. So that's how you can follow me. And I'm starting this like text blast. So if I'm coming to your city and I'm doing a bliss mob, you can get on a list to like have a little text saying, hey, I'm coming to Atlanta, I'm coming to Columbia, whatever. So you can be a part of it. Because a lot of times people don't necessarily, check the Facebook. And there's always, my events are posted on my Facebook page if you ever want to look it up. But sometimes people, need a little.
They need some different multimedia.
People are distracted, and so
well,
I need reminders.
I'm really excited about the hug rally that's coming to Atlanta. I'm going to get my whole crew together, and particularly I feel seen and validated with the gluten-free hugs because I do have celiac.
Okay. We got a sign for you then. Yeah. All signs provided. You don't have to show up. Just show up, and even if you're not a hugger, I've been trying to tell this to people because some people aren't, and people get intimidated by touch and they don't want to be vulnerable. So there's options. You can give out the stickers. We've got stickers. Basically, they're hello, my name is stickers. And I write on them. I just write ahead of time. I fill a bunch of them out and they say like free hugs, gluten-free hugs. And so they can hug it forward, we put them on them or you can just be there and offering like standing ovations to people or high fives or whatever, smiles. You don't have to even touch anyone. Just show up and just soak up the good vibes, feels so good. Feels so good. Yeah. I want to say like, I'm excited because I just did a tour out west of like some big cities with this bliss mob stuff. I'm like, here I go. I'm just doing it, it's like, I'm kind of just like winging it. I guess we all are, so I'm just like, here we go. So I just went out west and did like Seattle, Portland, and like all the way, like Phoenix, Denver, just went to these cities and showed up, and people showed up, and we just blissed out. And so I'm planning a spring tour. I'm going to try to get in front of these state capitol buildings, because that was really cool in Sacramento. We did one of the mobs in front of the state capitol building, and it was neat because like these state workers were coming out and just so grateful, and they were just like, you know, we're used to like kind of seeing these people real angry and like, you know, which is fine too, but like it was refreshing for them to see this group of people that were just blissing out and smiles and dancing and stuff. So I just want to take that out to the Southeast in the spring. So anyway, but yeah, Atlanta's coming up, and I'm really excited about that. I'm glad you're going to be there.
We are too. Yeah, we'll probably be showing up in costumes and lots of nonsense and, you know, whatever tricks people out of our hats.
Exactly.
We'll come and add on to your fun and merriment. And yeah, I think we're all pretty excited for it. I've already seen a lot of my friends have replied going to that. And so I'll have all the links for all of your digital presence in, I'll put that, you know, in the comments section of this.
Okay.
And let's see. So if you could give someone your single most valuable piece of advice, what would you say? Just something universal, and then we'll probably be wrapping up with this.
Okay. I would tell people that, and this is just because this was such a beautiful thing that happened to me, but that I did, but like give yourself like a month or two and just put like really nourishing foods into your body. Like take the alcohol out, take out the processed foods, and do yoga and go dancing. And I know it sounds so simple and like almost cliche, but like just do this experiment on yourself for 30 days. And just, it's so beautiful to like when I did it, I had like aches and pains I didn't even realize I had that went away, you know, like I just felt like this superhuman. And I just think everybody, you know, especially if you're about to go on like a you know, medication. I'm obviously not a doctor or anything, but I just would encourage people to just discover how much power we have in our own self to heal. When we stop putting the stuff, like, you know, you got this Lamborghini and you're pulling up and you're putting like, you know, crappy unleaded in it, and you're wondering why you're not maybe feeling 100% great. And I would just encourage people to take a month or two and put in, you know, the high grade fuel and see what your body can do. Yoga has changed my life. Like I'm committed to a practice now. So if I don't go, I notice it in my body. I notice it in my mood. And I have friends that are like off their meds, their depression meds because of yoga. And I really encourage people to you know, do that experiment on their body and their mind.
Excellent. Oh, I'm so pleased. Well, I'm going to be bringing my yoga teacher with me to your Atlanta.
Awesome.
And I actually took the 200-hour instructor course from her too. And so we are believers and enthusiasts here.
So you know, yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yay. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful experience to get to share time with you. I just think you are such a beautiful human, and knowing you personally too, like you're every bit as real as you've been in this recording as you are in real life. And it's just been it's just been such an honor. Thank you for allowing me to share your projects with the world. And I look forward to more exciting times with you.
Yes. Yeah. Please reach out too. Reach out through my website. If you want to lead a Bliss mob in your community, whoever's watching this, let's make this happen. I'm telling you, it's so much fun, and it's really helpful to the planet. So it seems like a super simple thing to do, but it really is powerful. And, you know, yeah, please reach out.
Great. And tell us one more time how to find you on Facebook.
Yeah. If you look at the Booth Fairy Project, .com, or, you know, I'm on Facebook under the Booth Fairy Project. And my trunk show is on Instagram. It's Traveling Trunk Show, but it's the Booth Fairies Traveling Trunk Show, which is kind of a mouthful, but you know, it's okay.
Wonderful. All right. Elle Erickson, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful time, and please enjoy your adventures that you're off to. Yes.
Can I add one more thing?
Please, please.
Also, there's like little perks and stuff. So if you become a patron, which is like, you're going to feel good just because you're helping a good cause, but you're also going to get really, really cool stickers. Because everybody, like, stickers are life, right? Like everybody wants stickers, and you get discounts at my trunk shows too. You get like $1 off each clothing item and stuff. So
Do you have any of your merchandise handy that you could show us real quick? Do you have any stickers or any your merch right here?
This is my water bottle. So like, wait, let me see. What do we got here? Like, what is this?
Being nice to people is
a
really good idea.
That's a good one. We've got this one that you can actually make a bunch of money on. The shitty advice, $1. So you can like, you can actually, I usually say I'm sold out. Like, you know, that's one of my booth signs is the shitty advice, but I always have a sold out sign over it because it's kind of funny. And I don't want to give out a bunch of shitty advice. Right. So, you know, yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks again. I hope you have a wonderful time off at your next adventure. I know you're going to.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.